When I installed a small solar rig on my backyard shed, nothing fancy, just a $1,000 off-grid system to power my workshop and garden lights, I figured I was doing my part for the environment. After all, the HOA here in Clearwater Bluffs always bragged about going green and encouraging sustainable living. But 2 weeks later, I came home from a weekend hiking trip to find the panels gone, brackets ripped out, cables dangling, and a bright red violation sticker slapped onto my shed door like a scarlet letter. The HOA's explanation. The next day, I showed up at the Clearwater Bluffs HOA office, still in my boots to get answers. The president, Travis Kellerman, didn't even flinch. Unauthorized external equipment was found violating aesthetic standards outlined in subsection 12C of our community handbook, he said smugly. I pointed out that I'd installed the panels at the rear of my property, shielded by hedges, not visible from the street, and in a way that posed zero structural hazard. Travis didn't care. You didn't submit an approval form. We had them removed for uniformity. When I asked where my panels were, he said they're being held pending review. Held? They'd confiscated my property, without notice, without a hearing. I smiled. Travis had no idea who I was. The detail they overlooked. By day, I'm a quiet, flannel-wearing, garden-loving neighbor. By profession, I'm James Teller, an auditor and field investigator for the State Housing Oversight Division, a government agency that investigates HOA misconduct, fraud, and abuse of authority. Yep, I investigate people like Travis. And while I usually keep a low profile, the moment they laid hands on my solar panels, personal property on private land, they crossed the line. Operation Sunshine. That night, I filed an internal incident report through our state oversight portal. Within 72 hours, the HOA's recent board minutes and enforcement actions were subpoenaed. Their financial records were placed under audit. I initiated a formal investigation into possible HOA code violations, unlawful seizure of property, and abuse of enforcement authority. What I found, the HOA had removed or fined over 42 residents in the past year for small solar installations, bird feeders, compost bins, and even backyard planters, all under the guise of aesthetic consistency. Even worse, they had sold confiscated materials at a private surplus auction. My solar panels? Sold for $150 to a board member's cousin. The fallout. Within 2 weeks, state inspectors were on site. Residents were interviewed. Records were reviewed. Photos, emails, secret board discussions, all exposed. The findings: illegal property seizure, conflict of interest and insider deals, falsification of architectural review forms, retaliation against eco-friendly installations. The state issued a cease and desist order against all future enforcement actions by the board. Travis, he was removed from his post, fined $12,000, and banned from serving on any HOA board in the state for 10 years. The board treasurer and vice president also resigned in disgrace. Justice and solar restored. I received a full refund for my lost panels, plus damages. The HOA was ordered to revise its bylaws in compliance with state solar rights laws and mandated to host an annual sustainability fair, paid out of board stipends. And now, nearly a dozen neighbors have followed my lead and installed similar solar setups, all fully permitted and protected. My new panels, triple the size, twice as efficient, and legally untouchable. Moral of the story: if you're going to play HOA cop, make sure you're not targeting the guy who writes the real rule book, because sometimes that quiet neighbor with solar panels is the one shining the spotlight on you.